Assalamualaikum dear students. I hope you all are enjoying with good health. Here I am, Miss Sana Ismail, lecturer in botany and working as a co-teacher in University of Education, Lahore. Today we will discuss about one of the topic from subject plant systematics, anatomy and development. Course code of this subject is BOTN 1112. Let's begin this lecture, which is about the epidermis. Epidermis is a single layer of cells that covers the leaves, flowers, roots and stems of plant. It forms a boundary between the plant and the external environment. It performs several functions. It protects from the water loss and regulate gaseous exchange, secrete metabolic compounds, absorb water and minerals. We can discuss it thoroughly in this lecture. We can discuss their functions, their structure, and what is the learning objective of our lecture. First of all, we discuss the plant tissue system. Then we learn about the types of plant tissue system. What is the epidermal tissue system? Then we discuss about the cell structure in epidermis. Components of epidermis, stomata and epidermal appendages. First of all, we discuss the plant tissue system. There are three types of plant tissue system, which is based on their function. First is epidermal tissue system, which contain epidermis, stomata and epidermal appendages like trichomes and hairs. The second is ground tissue system. Ground tissue system, these are neither dermal nor vascular. These are parenchymatous tissue, collenchymatous tissue and sclerenchymatous tissue. The third is vascular tissue system. As you know that it is also called conducting tissues. These are xylem and phloem. Epidermal tissue system, which include the epidermis. Epidermis form outermost layer of cells on the primary plant body. It is present over stem, roots and leaves. In most plants, epidermis is composed of single layer of cell, but two or several types are also found in different plants. When single layer of epidermis is present, it is called hypodermis, while when the epidermis is composed with many layers, it is called multiciliate epidermis. And if the epidermis is present on the roots, then it is called rhizodermis or epiblema. The main function of the epidermis is transpiration. It also gives protection to the cell, and the transpiration is occur in epidermis through stomata. The main components of epidermal tissue are epidermis, stomata, and epidermal appendages, just like trichomes and hairs. Then we discuss about the structure of epidermis. As we know that epidermis is composed of single layer of cells. These cells have different cell structures, shapes, just like these cells may be tubular, may be isodermic, elongated, waxy, or rectangular. These cells are compactly arranged. Epidermal cells have highly vacuolated some leucoplasts are also present in it, in which chloroplasts are absent. Only the guard cells which present in stomata contain chloroplast, in which mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, and endoplasmic reticulum are also present in epidermal cells. Epidermal cells contain a cuticle layer. This thin layer of cuticle is made up with chitin. Chitin is deposited on the outer wall of epidermal cells. In this slide, you can see that the two layers of epidermis, upper epidermis and lower epidermis. Here is the cuticle layer present on the upper epidermis, while on the lower epidermis, stomata are present which contain two guard cells. These guard cells are used for gaseous exchange. The carbon dioxide enters through these guard cells, through these stomata, while the oxygen leaves through these guard cells. Here is the xylem and phloem vascular bundles are also present, which are used for the transportation of water and food. Stomata are present in epidermis. Each stroma is bound by a pair of guard cells. These guard cells are vein and kidney shaped. Guard cells are rich in chloroplast and starch grain. Guard cells are produced by the vertical division of a single stomatal mother cell. The variation in turgidity in the wall of guard cells cause opening and closing of stomata. Exchange of gases take place through stomata. When the wall of guard cells are fully turgid, the stomata are opened, while when the wall of guard cells deflated, the stomata are closed. In this slide, you can see that the structure of stomata. In their structure, the two guard cells are present. Guard cells contain chloroplast and their nucleus, and stomatal apparatus. They control the gaseous exchange. When the H2O enter, guard cells open. When the H2O exit the stomata, then these guard cells are closed. What is the structure of stomatal apparatus? The stomatal aperture, guard cells, and subsidiary cells form the stomatal apparatus. There are two types of layers are present. Here two types of walls are present. Outer wall is thin and elastic, while the inner wall is thick and inelastic, which control their function of gaseous exchange and perform their function to control opening and closing of stomata. Here is the types of stomata, which is based on the presence of their subsidiary cells. These subsidiary cells are different from other epidermal cells. There are four types of stomata on the basis of subsidiary cells. First is anomocytic stomata. When the guard cells are surrounded by a certain number of cells, and these cells have similar shapes, and it is called anomocytic stomata. Second is anisocytic stomata. In this case, guard cells are surrounded by three subsidiary cells. These cells have different sizes, such as present into the potato. The third is parasitic stomata. In this case, each guard cell is surrounded by one or more cells. These cells contain longitudinal axes and may be parallel to the guard cells and apertures. The fourth is diacytic stomata. In this case, guard cells is surrounded by two subsidiary cells. The common wall of these cells is at right angle to the longitudinal axis. In this slide, you can see that the different types of stomatal structures which are characterized because the presence of subsidiary cells. They are classified on the basis of subsidiary cells. The first type is anomocytic stomata. In anomocytic stomata, you can see that the guard cells are surrounded by a certain number of subsidiary cells. These cells have similar shapes. The example of this stomatal type are buttercup. The second type is anisocytic stomata. In this stomata, the guard cells are surrounded by 3 subsidiary cells, and these subsidiary cells have different size. All cells are different from each other, and the example of anisocytic stomata are potato. The third is parasitic stomata. In this stomata, the subsidiary cells are also present, and the guard cell is surrounded by 1 or more subsidiary cells. The longitudinal axis of subsidiary cells is parallel to the guard cells and apertures. Example of parasitic stomata is onion, while the fourth type is diacytic stomata. In this case, the guard cells are surrounded by 2 subsidiary cells. The common wall of these cells is at right angles to the longitudinal axis, and there is another type of stomata are present, which is actinocytic stomata. This is the different type of stomata in which the guard cells are surrounded by a lot of number of subsidiary cells. These cells are radiating cells, and just like a circle which surround the guard cells, then we discuss about the third component of epidermis, which is the epidermal appendages. In which the trichomes and hairs are present. What is the trichome? Trichome are different types of appendages which appear on the epidermal layer. It is present on the surface of epidermis and may be present in the form of hair and as a water absorbing roots. Trichomes occur in all parts of the plant, may be unicellular or multicellular. They may be granular or non-granular. Maybe if these are present in the form of hair, then maybe tufted, striate, branched. It depends on the crop. Then we discuss about the function of epidermis. The epidermal cells protect the cells which are present beneath the epidermal layer. It provides waxy cuticle layer to prevent the loss of moisture from the leaves, stems, flowers and fruits. The transparent epidermal cells allow sunlight to perform photosynthesis to pass through the chloroplast in the mesophyll tissues. Their stomata of leaves and stems allow gaseous exchange to take place, which is necessary for photosynthesis and transpiration. Through transpiration, the water vapors may be given off in the presence of stomata and by opening and closing of gore cells. Root hairs of epidermal layer absorb water and dissolved ions from the soil. So this is all about for this lecture. Here is the reference present. Thank you.